It's among the biggest blunders in politics, right up there with Brexit or the Iraq War. I'm talking about Emmanuel Macron's recent gamble, his decision to hold snap elections in France. It's backfired magnificently. Not only has his party slid to third position, the far right has made significant gains. They're in pole position to form a government in France. Now, you must have heard this term multiple times, the far right in Europe. But what exactly does it mean? What is the far right? The right wing in Europe do not like social change. They prefer the way things are, whether it's religion or taxes or national identity. And then there is the far right. Think of them as the right wing on steroids. They can be radical on key policy issues. They don't like abortion or gay rights or immigration. Sometimes it can border on racism and homophobia. Many of these parties also do not like globalization. They prefer countries to be in charge of their own affairs, hence their dislike for the European Union. In the 20th century, this thought was associated with Nazis and fascists, the far-right thought. So for decades, they were cast out from European politics. But now they're making a comeback and they're making gains. Let's look at the numbers in France. These are the results from the first round of voting. The far right got 33% of the votes. The left wing got 28%. And President Macron's centrists slumped to the third spot, just 21% of the votes. So the far right clearly won this round, but they did not win a majority, which is why there is going to be a second round. You see, France's parliamentary elections are a bit complicated. A candidate must win more than 50% of the votes. If not, it goes to the second round. And in this round, the second round, only the top 2 or 3 candidates will remain. And the candidate who wins the maximum votes is declared the winner. Now, there are 577 seats in the French parliament. Less than 100 seats have been decided so far. So on less than 100 seats, we have a clear winner with more than 50% of the votes. The rest will be declared after the second round. It's slated for next Sunday. So by next week, we'll have more clarity. Meanwhile, celebrations have started in the far-right camp. They were long considered taboo in France, but now they are the biggest political group in the country. Their leader is Marine Le Pen. She called the results a form of emancipation.
It's a form of great emancipation for the people. They're taking back their freedom. They once are determined to defend themselves against political powers that have hurt them, that weakened them, that ruined them.
What do these results mean for France? Broadly, 3 things. First, tension on the streets. Far-right supporters are celebrating their victory, but others are out in protest. Things have been peaceful so far, but such rival demonstrations can easily spin out of control. Take a look at this. Fallout number 2, it could lead to a new alliance. The far right is not looking for a coalition. They want an outright majority, so the rest of the parties are looking to gang up. Macron has already released a statement. He's calling for a broad coalition against the far right, basically the left plus the centrists. His prime minister also echoed that call.
I say this with the force that the moment calls for, to each and every one of our voters. Not a single vote must go to the national rally.
Which brings us to the final point, irreparable damage to Emmanuel Macron's legacy. There are 3 possibilities after the second round. A far-right victory, a left plus centre victory, or a hung parliament. And all 3 will turn Macron into a lame duck. That too in the middle of the Olympics. Remember, France will be hosting the games later this month. The whole world will be looking at France, and what will they see? A president humbled and left at the mercy of others. Macron's presidential term lasts until mid-2027. And as president, he can still control France's foreign and defense policy. But he needs the parliament for domestic policies like taxes or immigration or health and education. So we could be looking at a long period of deadlock in France. A president who does not like the parliament, a parliament that does not like the president, and end result, no work gets done. And this election result is important not just for France, but for the rest of Europe as well. It will send shockwaves through the continent. France is the second largest economy in the European Union. It is the EU's only nuclear power. Also a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. If the far right can win France, they can influence European politics. They can push their own position on issues. Take a look at where they stand. Less cooperation with NATO, banning birthright citizenship, tighter immigration rules, less support for Ukraine, and less synergy with Brussels. So France could withdraw from an active role in Europe, which is the opposite of Macron's position. Having said that, politicians can throw surprises. Just look at what happened in Italy. The doomsday predictions have fallen flat. The far right is leading a pro-EU government in Rome. So I guess the only option is to wait. The next round will decide the fate of France and Europe. But even if the far right cannot cross the majority, one thing is quite clear. The old taboo is gone. It's only a matter of time before they form a government. Obviously today, the T20 World Cup bandwagon has moved across to the West Indies. What can you expect from this?
Hello, I'm Alison Green, coming to you from Durban, South Africa. Today we have a special show.
We'll start with a report on India's shifting nuclear posture. For the first time since India officially became a nuclear power.
Hello and welcome to Firstpost America. I'm Eric Ham, coming to you live from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C.